Hello there fellow humans and welcome to this video, and today I want to talk about the Caernavon Action X because it is in shop right now, as you can see, for the next 2 weeks. Now, obviously, first of all, let's go through the offer and then let's go through the tank as well. Obviously, as always, ignore this price here. It is fake, it doesn't exist. It's essentially a way to try and make you buy it. Gotta say this every time though, because obviously Wargaming keeps doing it and somehow this is legal. So basically this price never existed and it's bullshit. So what we have here, we got the Caernavon Action X obviously. Then we got a camouflage, which, I mean, you can get a camo for 2,000 credits, so value nada. You get an avatar, that's a picture, you can make that in 5 minutes, value nada. Then you got ×5, which I believe you can only use for this tank, so then again, value not much because you have to convert it into free XP with gold. A garage slot costs about 200 gold, so there's that, and this is 2 million credits, so we now end up with the same price as the T-54E2, and that is very, very important here because the T-54E2 is the best tier 8 in the game, which basically means the TLDR of this video, if you missed the T-54E2, that is your problem. You should have bought that one because it's better. That's the whole story of it, basically. Because if you own the T-54E2, there is no reason to buy this thing, and if you don't own the T-54E2, why didn't you get it? So that's the whole kind of point of this tank. Obviously, if it were something around 10k or even 8k or something like that, I'd say it's a very good deal, but it being the same price as the 54E2 and it being a worse tank, yeah, it ain't worth it. So, with that said, obviously, you gotta back up arguments with facts, right? And the point here is that obviously, if you look on BlitzStars, this thing's performing worse, so you got that. And then what do you have as well? This tank does not have a lot of alpha damage. It's only 190 alpha damage, which is very bad because obviously, the less alpha damage you have, the more you have to peak, the more you have to expose yourself to actually do damage. Your T-42 has to peak a lot less than this tank. And as a bonus, it also has more armor in this tank. You have the cupola on top, which is pretty big. The turret can be penned from certain tanks, especially from T9s. And same with the hull as well. It is not a very strong hull, because especially of the track overhangs, really, you can be penned a lot easier than you might think. Now, obviously, the main good feature about this tank is its DPM, which is at almost 2,800. Come on, mate, aim. Basically, that means that at the end of the day, you do have a lot of DPM, but as you can see already right here, I have to just peak a lot. That exposes me a lot as well, which is not great for a tank that has armor that is decent, but not great. So there's that. Overall, I would definitely say that it is better than the standard Caernavon, because it's a premium tank, obviously, these days. So there's that, but is it better than an AMX M449? Is it better than a T-54E2? I wouldn't think so. I would not say so, and especially the MX M449, it was sold for 7.5k gold a couple of months ago. So basically, if you didn't get that, then you're now overpaying, essentially, for value and price, basically, and also the performance of the tank. Now, is it a tank that you can consider buying? Well, if you do invest a lot of money in this game and you collect tanks, then sure, it can very well be worth picking up, especially if you're a very good player, because at that point you can sort of make up for the lack of alpha damage with positioning and stuff like that, you know, where you just put yourself in a spot where you can peak it properly, because you can't trade in this thing. Nada. So you gotta set yourself up properly to be able to capitalize off it as well. So what we're gonna do here is we have a lovely gentleman in a heavy tank camping on the back of the map, you know, because that is well, happening these days, I suppose. Helsing's gonna shoot me, don't really care about him at this point. Gonna switch back to this side so he can't shoot me. Well, actually at this point, the projectile's a one-shot, doesn't really matter. Why would you camp in an IS? I mean, like, bruh. Well, anyway, that's the new generation of Blitz players, everyone, I suppose, and that is what we gotta deal with. Yikes. Okay, here we go. Helsing, we shoot him 2.5k. That's an okay game so far, I guess. Could be better, but it ain't too bad. Let's go, that's not too bad. Let's play another one, because why not? And now here we are on Dynasty's Pearl, I think one of the worst maps in the game, pretty much. Okay, I got a 3080, but I can't get 120 FPS. This game is very well optimized, isn't it? I get 600 FPS in CSGO, but I can't get 120 here. Jesus. Anyway, let's not talk about that, I guess. So, let's see. Let's take a look. What can we do here? Obviously, again, you gotta go for track shots. That is something that you can and definitely always should do, especially in a tank like this, because you can perma-track people. You know, 4.2 seconds reload, that is quite fast. And especially if the enemy doesn't have advanced repair skills, if the enemy is a newer player, then they're gonna not be able to repair the track in below 4.2 seconds, so you can basically keep them tracked permanently. So that is another nice feature that this tank actually does have, right? So you gotta lay out the things on the table. Now, obviously, it has advantages compared to AMX or a T54E2, I'd say, in that regard. Obviously, the perma-trackability, it also has more DPM. So there's that, but I don't think that those advantages are worth it if you compare it to the, well, their armor and mobility. They're not great, they're not bad, they're just there. And also the alpha damage, which is quite a big bummer, let's say, to this tank, because if you would have, even if it had 225, I think it would already be a lot better tank, but then again, that wouldn't work, I'd say. Okay, there we go. Kill. Can we shoot that? Kinda. I mean, I can reload fast, but here at this point, I have to think, can I one-shot the STA? And I can't. So that is... yeah, that's why you really have to look at this tank in a different way. It's not as good as people say. Like, sure, there's a lot of people overhyping it because they're good players and they can make the DPM work, but for like a below-average player or something like that, then you're not going to be able to extract most of the potential because you have to position yourself in a way that you can peak without being punished, without being out-traded. You know, you can't trade against anyone, really, except other British tanks and some tier 7s, you know. Even those are going to have more alpha than you a lot of the times. So, yeah, that's the problem with this tank, really. It's a good tank, but for this point and for this price, it's not really a good price. Well, I mean, it's an alright price, but as I say, if you missed the T4, that's on you. Now, basically, if you choose to pay the same for less value, that's your thing, that's your decision. Can't help you with that. You know, because in the end, in the final, it's your decision. I hope that you don't make a dumb decision on that, I guess, because, you know, it's a lot of money, and that money can be spent wisely on other things in life. So, do think about it. This is not one of the must-have tanks, I'd say, you know. It's not a 54A2, it's not an MX 749. So, it's there, certainly. It's one of the better tier 8 premium tanks in the game. But I would think twice if I spend my money on this to just have a different and slightly worse T54A2. And you can just get the T54A2 for the same price, which is better. So, there's that. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you learned something. And as always, see you for the next one. So, someone told me I do outros like some guy, so I'm just gonna be like, see ya.